So strong. Don't believe it anymore. You can never turn me on. There's no more lies. There's no more pain. No suffering like before. So you've got the sleepless nights, and tears are clouding up your eyes, and your broken heart, and you're lying on the floor. And now your soul is torn in two. You are lost, you are mad, feeling sad. You crazy broken dreams are never coming back. And now you see how it feels when you're down on your knees and your soul is turning too. And now you know how it feels when you're down on your knees and your heart is bleeding. Now so strong. And now your soul is torn in two. You are lost, you are mad, feeling sad. Your crazy broken dreams are never coming back. Now you see how it feels when you're down on your knees and your soul is turning too. And now you know how it feels when you're down on your knees and your heart is bleeding. Now it's so strong.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
concerns when people start. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because rain, you can go through a small amount of water, at least your cars can handle that. But when you start talking about ice and conditions where your tires can't really grip on anything, that's when you should be a little more concerned. But it seems to be the opposite now. You think about, the first rainfall around springtime, people kind of get loopy with their driving as well. So,
all right. Well, the real reason I wanted to talk to you was not to discuss weather or weather patterns or jet streams, but to talk some about. I mean, you make picks weekly, daily, NBA, NHL, NFL, you name it. You make the picks. What is your NBA is a nightmare. I had a buddy the other night who texted me that he bet a 5-game parlay with the Knicks, Celtics, Kings, Cavs, and somebody else, and I was just like, why the hell would you bet anything on the NBA? It sounds like one of the scariest things on the face of the earth. How do you make your picks NBA-wise? What's your strategy?
Yeah, the NBA can be terrifying, but, like anything that tends to scare people, if you do things in small portions. With that being said, the way I've been betting the NBA this season, and I've done pretty well at it, and I've taken the advice of a couple of colleagues of mine, is first half, second half. Take the information that you get, especially if you look at the NBA has a lot of different statistical measurements they use. And so when you look at the per 36 minutes, per 30 minutes, per 48 minutes, where they break down, just your general basic stats but broken down into these time frame measurements, you can use that, use that model to build up a line and a prediction for just the first half of the game. The tendencies where you see more fouls in the second half, or, you might see teams, pass the ball a little bit more in the first half and be a little more selective with their shots. So you can use that kind of information to break down the NBA. Now you can compile it all together and make a fair assessment on where you think a full game side or full game total goes. But I really found that after I had a pretty tough NBA season betting mostly full games, but this year they're doing well first half and second half, and so I'm going to kind of stick with that model for a little while and ride that and keep making some money off of it. So.
I've had Tim Donaghy on my show a couple times. Mm-hmm. And he did the he went full gambler and started giving tips to the mob, but his strategy was just based on the relationships players had with the refs, based on this guy Bennett Salvatore doesn't like Allen Iverson very much. Okay, you should probably bet against the Sixers on this game. Do you ever look at the referee? Do you ever go that in depth when you're trying to make decisions?
I'll look at it. I always study referee trends for not only the NBA, but actually in the NHL as well. Kind of the same philosophy. You got some referees in the NHL that they'll be a little more lenient with some certain hits and trips and so forth, and won't call them any penalties. Some will be a little more strict. So I'll look at that, but I won't take too much into unless I see a remarkable trend of say maybe you got a referee who's all these games are going over the total because he's calling so many fouls, and you got teams going to the free throw lines more often. But it's a small portion of the puzzle. I always try to view each game like a puzzle. So, but that wouldn't be something I take into a giant consideration. But I will look at it from time to time.
What's the biggest nightmare for making picks? Yeah, I mean, again, NBA sounds like a nightmare. NHL sounds even more like a nightmare. I just if I'm going to place a bet, it's going to be on the NFL. I'm not very successful at it, but that just seems like the safest bet. Is that a misconception, or do you think that the strategy, if you just know the right strategy in NBA or NHL, it can be just as successful as NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's all situational. For me personally, when I first started, the NFL everything seemed really clear with the NFL, and I had a couple hot runs, and then it just kind of cooled off. A lot of rule changes. The NFL seems to make one or two major rule changes every year that somehow just slightly affect, the spreads and totals. So over time, I've gotten to the point now, I've cut way back in my NFL plays. The NFL's been a little tough for me to read, especially this season. Once again, going back to the first half model, I've done really well in NFL first and second half betting. In fact, I just lost my first half bet of the NFL season today. I had the Steelers and Jets over 23, and the Jets came out blazing and needed just one more touchdown to get over. Came up a little bit short, but overall, before that, I had 10 straight wins. Just like I said, watching the first half of usually a Monday night or Sunday night game, and kind of figuring out the tendencies, looking at how teams are moving the ball, and then firing down on a play in the second half. But
go ahead. Well, what's the most dangerous team in the last 2 or 3 years that you've noticed? Like, is it a Jacksonville where everybody just perceives, it's Jacksonville, they're going to lose? What's the most dangerous team in the NFL right now, or in the last 3 years, for making picks against?
Yeah, I guess I would have to say, Jacksonville is one of those teams where it's just, I like to avoid betting two bad teams playing against each other. But when you have teams that are just consistently abysmal, like you say, like a Jacksonville, or a great example right now in the NHL is the Buffalo Sabres. They are as bad of a hockey team as I've seen in a very, very long time. And the thing is, when you look at something like the NBA, or like Major League Baseball or the NHL, we have money line betting. You're always going to get value with an underdog, but you're going to get tremendous value with a really bad underdog. So for me, I would be tempted to look at betting a team like Buffalo, where it's like, wow, I can get 3-1 odds for them to win. In a hockey team, hockey, you can win, one goal can make the difference. So it's not as far-fetched as saying, well, all right, I'm going to bet Jacksonville money line at, plus 1,500. But all right, you really think that they're going to beat, Denver, on the road? It's like, it's situational. But the Jaguars, the Oakland Raiders, those bottom-feeding teams every year, they're hard to bet because they're getting all this value with these points. You see double-digit points, and you see these 10-1, 15-1 money lines, but you have to know that they're priced that way for a reason. These are really bad teams, and you're better off keeping your money in your pocket and not wagering on them.
How often? I mean, from what I've seen, it looks you're very accurate on your picks. It's unbelievable. When say you put a pick out there, how many times have you gotten blamed if somebody gets led down the wrong path on your picks? Have you gotten nasty messages or anything like that?
Not really, no. I've been pretty fortunate, especially this season, where most of the losses that I have had were it was a situation of the right call and just the wrong result. There's been a lot of, especially in college football, there's been a lot of bad beats and close misses, but nothing to the point of where I was just completely way off. And even though that happens from time to time, it happens to anyone who's wagering on sports. But I haven't had too much negative criticism. I've had a lot of positive criticism or positive notes from people when I do win, but no major criticism. A lot of people think that that's part of the business. You get a lot of hate mail and so forth. But no more haters than the rest of the people. So.
Okay. Well, just for fun, I'm going to act like you put out a pick, and I used that pick, and it was wrong. I'm going to be a disgruntled follower of yours, and you're going to have to respond with an appropriate response to my criticism. So here's my first one, dude. I put the mortgage on my house. I bet that. Bet my house, bet my car on the Steelers this week. The first half,